Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've sort of got a special edition. Well, look, to be honest, there's two. Why is there two, I hear you ask? That's because one is special. See, it says it right there. I've actually had this happen to me before. Now, I have bought these two identical models, in the identical packaging, but this particular one that has special on it is completely different to the one that you have on the box art, whereas this one that doesn't have special on it is true to the box art. And we will begin with that one. Now, we'll throw this special one out of the way and we'll get back to that in a moment. Now, this particular one is obviously a Messerschmitt 109G-2 Tropical, and it is from JG 77, of course. We have Black 2 from second group, while in Tunisia in 1943. Now, it does have a nice sand yellow finish with those green squiggles on there across the upper surfaces. And it also has the second group's unit marking of the little top hat at the sort of back there. We'll have a little look in the flap. And that is that aircraft right there. It does have a lot of nice little bits and pieces that we need to chuck on it. It does have, nothing much in there. The usual boxes. All right, so that is the first one. What we're going to do is check out this special one. Okay, so now the special one, which is denoted because it does say special on a couple of stickers around the box. It is a weird one. It is, I'll explain. Now, as you can see here, you can see German markings on the upper surfaces of the wing there, but if you sort of look in there, you can see the Italian markings there. Now, the fuselage markings are of the Italian G2 from the 150th Gruppo, from the Regia Aeronautica, but it does, as I said, still retain those German markings, the crosses on both upper and lower surfaces. Now, actually, these were painted over on the actual aircraft with a sort of a light grey paint. I'm unsure if Italian markings were later added to the wings, as the only images of this aircraft that I've seen have the grey over the German markings. But what we'll do is we will jump into action and open these boxes up so we can check out the two aircraft and both their differences. We'll be right back. All right, it does come with the usual sort of set of instructions that these do come with. So if you don't have any instructions and you've got one of these, well, pause, now you do. It does come also with the normal stand as well. Let's get this open. All right. Now, obviously, if you do like what you see, interwebs, it's the only way you're going to be able to grab one of these. Boy, that looks pretty cool. So it is the usual layout. We've done a couple of Dragon Wings 109, so we will jump straight into pulling this bloody thing out. And it does come out nicely. Let's check it out first before we do anything. All right. We'll zoom in a little bit so we can see some of those little details. It is quite a dark yellow on this sort of aircraft, on the paintwork there. You can see those squiggly green lines, which is pretty cool. It does have a little bit of movement here and there. I think the rudder moves as well. Let me have a little look. Yeah, there's a little bit of play in it. And as you can see, the top hat marking there for the unit. As you saw, this does come open, so we'll have a little squeeze in there. It's got some nice detail in there. That is pretty cool. It's got that beautiful tropical filter there. You don't want nasty sand in your engine, that is for sure. Yeah, this has got some really great detail. Come on, Dragon. I know I say this probably every video that we do of a Dragon Wings one, but you've really got to get back in the game. Come on. All right, let us set this up and make this a complete aircraft, and we'll come right back. All right, here we are, very straightforward. You just put the propeller on, obviously, on the front there. You do put your drop tank over that, the main landing gear area as well, to keep that into place. There is the stand hole there, which should clear that drop tank, which is really cool. It does have the rear tail wheel that you got to put in as well. Now you do have to put your little pitot tube in the wingtip there, and of course on the behind the canopy there you got to put that little antenna, and that is your beautiful tropical Messerschmitt Bf 109 in German markings set up. The only thing I suppose if you're going to get upset is the lack of swastika, which is historically missing, because that is with Dragon Wings they never really put them on there because people do cry when they see that at times, even though it is part of the aircraft for historical accuracy purposes. And if you want to put it on the stand, well, we will do that right now. That is just the stand right there, two-piece stand. You just chuck that on, and that is a pretty cool Dragon Wings Messerschmitt set up in flight. And I reckon that does look pretty excellent, actually. I really do like these Dragon Wings models. They do present really well, especially for the age of the model. They are really well done. You're probably expecting me to say, oh, what we'll do now is we'll chuck some landing gear on this, but I'm not. Why is it, you ask? Well, what I'll do is I'll bring in the Italian one, which is pretty much identical to this one, except with a few minor differences, and we'll do that one gear down, because there's no point repeating the process for both these models when they are pretty much the same. All right, we'll quickly get this one out of the way and get our Italian stallion in. Alrighty, here we have the Italian one. It does have the same deal, the instructions in there, the same sort of stand. Well, it is exactly the same stand. As I said, they come in the same box, but they are different. Because this is special. Let's check out this special one. I've been told I'm special sometimes, but I don't think it's for a nice reason. But that's just from my mates anyway. So it does present there very nicely. As you can see, the exact same format, same components, almost identical colour. We will get this out and have a little look first straight away. All right, so you can see the Italian markings there. So that is definitely Italian markings. I will provide some photos, hopefully, to show you where they've painted out the crosses, so you get the idea of what I mean. On the actual aircraft, these were painted over, so because it is very weird, you're seeing German crosses and Italian tail markings and fuselage markings. It would be confusing indeed. But I think overall it is another fine Dragon Wings Messerschmitt, of course. Yeah, the usual movements, definitely great. And, well, one thing, you don't need to worry about Schwa stickers on this one, because it never had it on there, so this is perfectly done. It does have some nice gun details. The other one had some nice gun detail as well. Now this does have a yellow identification band there. And of course, as you can see, it is set up for in-flight straight out of the packet. But we don't want that, do we? Alright, so what we're going to do, well, you remember what we're going to do? I just told you a second ago. We're going to chuck this in gear down and we'll come right back. Alright, so we are back at gear down. It's pretty straightforward, just that one module piece that you just drop straight in. And of course, you put your fuel tank in. Now, I thought these were sort of going to be pretty identical, but what I did notice straight away, that fuel tank is a lot different to the one on the German aircraft, as you can see. There's a pretty big difference there, so I don't know if the Italians used a different style of drop tank on their aircraft. Now, the landing gear on this one is a little bit sort of a wonky on the wheel there. That can be fixed by sort of breaking that a little bit and resetting it, I suppose. That is a big issue. That is a sort of a first for Dragon Wings. Normally they are really well done. Of course, you do put your spinner on. It does have a nice bit of detail on there. It does have a fair bit of detail on these. Although the wings on these are a little bit straight, they should curve up a little bit. But overall, I think it does present really well. You just put, of course, your little tail wheel in there, and we get to go to the good bit. You do put the open canopy on, so of course this is 3 pieces, as you can plainly see. You do put the aerial on the back there as well, and you can check out some awesome detail in there. And I mean, this is really cool on a 1/72nd scale aircraft to have all this open. You do put that bit of tube in like the other one as well, and that is pretty much, well, it is job done. So I think overall it is another nice looking unit, so we'll put this one down like that. That is beautiful, in gear down, and we will fly in our Luftwaffe one that is in flight. And I reckon they both present really well, of course, and you'll definitely be pretty happy with either one. And as I said, as you saw, they both came in the exact same box, which was that livery right there, but of course this one had the special stickers on it. I have heard from other sort of people that sometimes Dragon Wings did put a special model in the same packaging as sort of the model that they did put out. I don't know what the reasoning was, or if they were, spinning some shit to me. I did have that with a Spitfire, I think it was. So it is not the first time that I've had that happen to me. So whereas whenever there's a special sticker, it is different to the box art. All right, I will wind this video up. It has probably gone on long enough for you guys. You don't want to hear my voice for too long because that could cause hearing damage. All right, I will take some photos of these, of course, and throw them at the end. Don't forget, speaking of thumbs, give me some of those if you enjoyed the video at all. And always feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are watching and you have not clicked that button. All right, everyone, once again, thank you so much for spending, of course, your valuable time in checking out another one of our videos. I hope you enjoyed this double Messerschmitt feature. All right, everyone. Now, you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.